Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in Welcome to something special. Welcome to TED. People gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our 6th annual TEDxKidsElCajon and our first ever virtual event. My name is Jen Petraglia, and I'm one of your co-organizers for this year's virtual event. We are so excited you're able to join us tonight. 349, it keeps going up, attendees. We are so excited. Thank you for joining us tonight at home as we are all in this new normal together.
Now we're at 357, 358. Wow, it keeps on climbing. Hi, my name is Howard Shen. I'm also one of the co-organizers. So in March, we had everything set, partners, entertainers, interactive activities, and most importantly, these amazing TED Talks ready. But when this whole COVID-19 started and became more serious, everyone's health and safety became our primary concern. So based on the local guidelines and with an average attendance of over 3,000, by mid-March, we decided we needed to postpone what we planned for May 2nd. Knowing how hard our speakers have practiced and not wanting to give up this amazing platform and opportunity, we quickly pivoted and decided to do this event virtually. Now, we began to meet with the TED organization, the TEDxers around the globe. We found out everybody's in the same situation, and they also, many have also decided to do virtual as well. So knowing this hasn't been done before, there are many lessons to be learned, kind of like our audio earlier.
Absolutely. So thank you for hanging in there with us. This is all new to us, and so we'll get through it together, but we're looking for a very exciting night. So when this started, our planning, we started really asking ourselves, what is the purpose of TED and what is the purpose of our TEDx? We love bringing our community together to celebrate, to connect, and innovate. What makes our TEDx so incredibly special are our speakers and the content they have to share. So for the last 3 weeks, speakers have been practicing at home with coaches virtually through Zoom. And to the parents of our speakers, this is you too. Thank you so much to all of our coaches, our parents for supporting our speakers and getting them ready. All of our talks tonight and for the next 3 nights are actually pre-recorded. Last week, we brought our speakers in one at a time, along with their families and coaches, to our theater of an empty audience, something we've never done before, to record their talks. And at that moment, when we were recording their talks and hearing their passion behind what they had to say, we knew we had made the best decision to keep this going and have these students share their voice. I'm not gonna cry tonight. So proud of them. Right now, our community needs this more than any time. And we need each other more than ever to get through this, especially today. We all need some good news now, don't we? Especially now. And watching these TED Talks will hopefully do just that. So tonight, we hope you laugh, we hope you smile, engage in conversations, become more curious, and are more inspired by our amazing speakers.
So as we all know, we're using Zoom as our platform tonight. Hopefully most of our audience is familiar with the features. Throughout our evening, our moderators Tamara and Kathy will be pushing out questions and resources relevant to the talks to prompt conversations with audiences and viewers next to you. We have turned off chat from the attendees so you can enjoy a distraction-free event.
So before we go any further, we have a special message and a special welcome for everybody from our very own Senator Brian Jones.
Hello and a big welcome to all TEDx kids at El Cajon. You are part of the best movement in America. Let's focus on my future possible self. During this busy week, I ask you to keep one thing in mind: curiosity. Being curious means always looking to learn new things, but not just new things. Sometimes it means new ideas about old things. Kind of like when you look at something from a different angle, sometimes it gives you a totally different perspective. Through curiosity, our world has gotten better and better. Curiosity helps scientists develop new medicines. Curiosity helps musicians create great songs. Curiosity helps all of us grow every day. Curiosity helps me represent El Cajon and East San Diego County in our state capital in Sacramento. Curiosity helps me know what I don't know and pushes me to learn more. On the internet, in books, through meetings such as this, we all learn from each other. I want all of you to have a great week, keep learning, and keep being curious. I'm Senator Brian Jones.
Thank you, Senator Jones. Okay, are we ready? Can't see all you, can't hear all you. Got your popcorn. I am ready. I don't know about you. Tonight, we have session 1, Perspective Shifters. As you are watching, we challenge you to listen to the topics and the talks and possibly shift your perspective and become a little more curious about learning something new. To lead us through our show, I'd like to introduce our host, Shakir Abaldry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy session 1 of TEDx Kids at El Cajon.
This session is called Perspective Shifters. All the talks in this session will inspire us to look at actions and events in a way we have never had before. Our first perspective shifter has been speaking on the TED stage for 3 years now. Listen as she took a passion and changed it into a business. Please welcome from WD Hall, Riley Fryer. Kids these days, they're just kids. Back in my day, these are all phrases we kids hear just about every day. Unfortunately, I don't think these phrases were meant to build us up nor inspire us. Sure, kids these days are different, but I believe you're more than just kids. In 2017, at the age of 9, I started my own business. When I first told people about starting a business, I feel like they underestimated me. They made comments like, "But you're only 9," and I'm sure they were thinking, that won't last long. But here I am, 3 years later, my business is still growing. This got me thinking, if I can start a business at 9, what are other kids doing? Well, I did a little research and found that kids these days really are doing great things. Take the following amazing children, for example. Alexa Grable was just 10 years old when she created the nonprofit Bags of Books, which helps get books in the hands of kids who might not otherwise be able to afford them. Through Bags of Books, Alexa has distributed over 120,000 books to schools, homeless shelters, and even children's hospitals. What about Josh Kaplan, who in playing on a soccer team in Arizona noticed the brother of one of his teammates was kicking a soccer ball by himself on the sidelines? This boy had Down syndrome and other disabilities, so he was not able to join the team, but he still loved the game. Josh soon realized there were lots of kids like his teammate's brother that loved soccer but didn't have anyone to play with. So he founded GOALS, which stands for Giving Opportunities to All Who Love Soccer, a nonprofit that pairs soccer-loving kids with disabilities with soccer-loving kids who don't have disabilities. GOALS organizes 2 non-competitive scrimmages every month, and it's even become an official partner with the Special Olympics in Arizona. Okay, just one more. She may not have reached double digits in terms of age, but Ahara Perez is well into the triple-digit IQ range. This 8-year-old from Mexico City has a higher IQ than super genius Albert Einstein. According to the Yucatan Times, Perez finished elementary school by 5, middle school by 6, and high school by 8. Now she is reportedly in the process of earning 2 degrees online, one in industrial engineering and mathematics, and one in systems engineering. How amazing is that? Kids these days. No, we don't have to walk uphill both ways, barefoot in the snow to get to school. But yes, some of us still walk, some of us still bike, and some of us still ride the bus. Sure, we have laptops, tablets, some lucky ones have cell phones, and I'm sure we know how to use the apps on our parents' phones better than they do. But as far as I can see, we're changing the world. Like right now, did you know there's a 5th grader named Treyanne from our very own Cone Valley School District who is a leukemia patient that has dedicated her time and efforts during quarantine to making over 300 masks for Rady's Children's Hospital workers and their families. So do me a favor. Stop using all those negative phrases you're using toward us. Not all of us are disrespectful. Not all of us think life should be easy. Stop underestimating us and start giving us a chance. I guarantee we will surprise you. I will continue to do my part and have a positive impact on this world. I promise.
I learned so much about starting my own business. I already have some ideas. Our next speaker is going to share with us a story of how she turned an unexpected loss to a way to help others. She is so brave to be sharing her story today. So please welcome Abby Abonio to the stage.
Shock, denial, anger, depression, and acceptance. These are some stages of grief. A person can experience all or some of these emotions when they are coping with the loss of a loved one. I have personally experienced these stages of grief in my own life. I am 10 years old, and 2 years ago my dad passed away. Since I was so young, it was hard to understand. I couldn't understand how or why someone that I loved so much could be taken away so fast. This was something that took a long time to process. What helped was remembering the last time I talked to my dad. He reminded me no matter what, he loved me and was always with me. I cried a lot after my dad passed away. I also spent a lot of time thinking of how much I missed him. To this day, I'm still sad and I cry because I miss him. This year, I began thinking of ways I could turn my sadness into something positive. With the help of my school counselor, Miss Diggs, I created a support group for students who have experienced the similar experiences as me. I met with 3 students from all different grades. I wanted to create a safe space for them to feel comfortable talking about their loss. I also wanted to help them know that they're not alone. I gave them handouts with tips, and during our meeting, I shared with them how I dealt with the pain of losing my dad. I also gave them a card that says, "Heal your heart," to take home and look at when they're feeling sad and wanting to feel better. I love helping people, especially people who have similar experiences as me. I want to continue supporting the students at my school by meeting with them, being a friend, and listening whenever they share their feelings. Oftentimes, they just need someone to listen to them. Even if you haven't experienced the loss of a loved one, you can still be a good listener. For those of you who have experienced the loss of a loved one, I want you to know that you're never alone. We never truly get over the loss, but we can move forward and grow from it.
Wow, she has been through so much. I loved hearing how she used her experience to help others with their loss. What about you? Up next is McClaren Clifton from Fuerte Elementary. She is going to share another way of helping others, organ donation. Listen as she talks about her personal connection to this life-saving act. Please welcome McClaren Clifton to the stage.
Did you know that 7,300 people die per year because of bad organs in their bodies? You might be wondering, what is an organ? You have many organs in your body, such as your heart, liver, lungs, kidneys, spleen, and many more. But if I kept listing, you'd be sitting here for hours. As I was saying, that is a lot of people dying, but it is not just because of bad organs that this terrible thing is happening. It is because of how many people have bad organs. Imagine you are at Starbucks with that long, long line. When you have a bad organ and your doctor tells you need a new one, you are added to the long list waiting for a good, healthy organ. Unlike at Starbucks, where you get your favorite drink in just a couple of minutes, you have to wait and wait and wait for your new organ, and it might be too late before you get it. In October, 2 years ago, my Uncle Paul passed away in a terrible accident. It was a very hard time for me and my family. He was able to donate his kidneys, liver, and tissue. We were so happy Uncle Paul was able to change the life of another person for the better. Even though our family lost someone, several other families were able to keep their loved ones. A few months after losing my uncle, we received a letter from one of the organ recipients. A man from Michigan named George received a new left kidney. George and his wife shared the impact of becoming an organ recipient. George said in his letter, "I feel overwhelmingly grateful and fortunate to have received such a life-changing gift." Paul's right kidney went to a man from California. Paul's liver went to a man from Arizona. Imagine just how many lives would have been lost without my uncle's organs. Every 10 minutes, a new person is added to the list waiting for a good, healthy organ. You may be wondering, how can you help? You can make yourself a donor by following some simple steps. First, choose whether or not you want to be an organ donor. Next, register with the DMV or at the website organdonor.gov. There are also other websites like Donate Life America, AATB, SiteLife, and also Organ Recovery, where you can learn more about organ donation. Last, tell your family that you are an organ donor and encourage others to become one too. Now, think about people like George, still in that long list, still in that long Starbucks line, and consider helping these people by becoming an organ donor. And remember these wise words from Dr. Seuss. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world.
That was so inspirational. Thank you, McClaren, for sharing your story. Organ donation really is the ultimate gift. Maybe someone listening might change their mind and become an organ donor. Such a great perspective shifter.
Okay, audience, we want to hear from you. In front of you, you see a poll. We want to know, are you an organ donor? If not, you can check the box, the chat box, and there are some very helpful links that McClaren...
Emilia Dutra is next. Her perspective on history might change the way you look at the past. So please welcome Emilia Dutra.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if historical people didn't change the world? Like if Ben Franklin didn't do the electric kite experiment, Thomas Edison wouldn't be inspired to make the light bulb. Hedy Lamarr influenced on what is today's Wi-Fi would not have happened without creativity, science, and inspiration from Edison or Franklin. Imagine living in a world with no electricity, no TV, and no Wi-Fi. When I ask people around me if they know certain historical people, they often say, no, I don't like history. You might even be thinking the same thing right now too, but I'm here to change that. History is not just inventors. There are people in history who have done great things, like working for world peace, fighting for women's rights, and being kind to all people. History can help you learn lessons so you can use them in life and not make the same mistakes people in the past have made. One lesson I have been learning is that you can solve problems without using violence. Did you know Martin Luther King Jr. was inspired by Gandhi's peaceful protests? We can use these ideas here at school by showing kindness and not using violence. Learning this can help us be inspired to make our own difference in the world. History can also teach you to follow your dreams, even when people doubt you. Emilia Dutra was the first woman to fly an airplane across the Atlantic. But people doubted her. But she didn't care. She followed her dreams instead of giving up. Emilia inspired other women to be pilots. We can be inspired to be brave and follow our dreams too. History can teach you how to treat others. Mother Teresa was willing to risk her life to help others and created charities to help make the world a better place. We can be inspired by her kindness and bravery and help others that are less fortunate. You can see that there are a lot of important people that change the world. We can all make history if we're willing to do hard work. The past shouldn't be forgotten. It should be remembered and appreciated. You never know, we might be making history right now.
That talk makes me want to go back and learn more about our historical world leaders. What about you? Speaking of the world, I love that our district has so many students from all over it, right here in Cajon Valley. This gives us an amazing opportunity to learn more about our cultures. Learning about different cultures gives meaning to everyone's life. In our next talk, we are going to learn a little bit about Afghani culture. So please welcome Zia Handart to the stage.
Imagine you're in a place. There's buzzing, people are talking, and the sun is shining on your hands. You feel the heat and you pick a juicy apple from a special tree. It is green, sour, and delicious. You could smell the sweet smell of the flowers. Can you guess what place I'm from? Well, maybe you're surprised to hear that I was born in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is in the heart of Asia. I lived my whole entire life in there, and I moved to US in March 2017. America, I want to show you the real Afghanistan. This is what you may see when you imagine Afghanistan. Bombs, people dying, and a dirty environment. But this is what I also know about Afghanistan. It has good places to visit, a good education. It has a good education because when I was in Afghanistan, for only less than a year at school, I learned how to speak English. As I came to US, less than 4 months, I became the student of the year. If I had not gone to school in Afghanistan, I might not have been the student of the year. I might have been in a newcomer class with terrible grades on it. So I thank my parents who have sent me to a private school. And the most important thing about Afghanistan is that it has the best food ever. If you go to an Afghani house, they will feed you really well. They will feed you really well Because if you're the guest, they're going to make 8 or 9 types of food for you. You might only see the war that's happening in my country, so that makes it hard for you to understand me and my culture. So let me share a story with you guys to represent an example of misunderstanding. One day, my dad started teaching some Americans to learn Pashto in San Diego State University. Over many days, we invited his students over for a lesson, and we also made some Afghani food for them. That day, I noticed that the Afghani people were eating more than the American people. My dad kept telling his students to eat more, eat more. But then the principal said that the food is great, but just let the students eat as much as they want. These misunderstandings could be big or small, but they often cause a conflict. They often cause a conflict because in my culture, we encourage each other to eat more, and this is normal for me. But this is not normal for certain Americans, so we must be kind, empathetic, and helpful to everybody, especially for those who we don't even understand. If we're not kind, empathetic, and helpful to everybody, America can't be peaceful. So I challenge all of you to find someone that you don't know and get to know them. It's not hard to find someone that you don't know, because if you're in a mall and you're waiting in a line, what will you do there? Nothing but just stare at your shoes? Well, maybe you can find someone that you don't know and get to know them. Thank you.
I'm so glad Zia got to share his story. I know I learned a little bit about Afghanistan, especially the importance of food. Our next speaker is an only child. I'm sure her perspective on growing up was much different than mine, because I have a sister. So please welcome Isabela Polis to the stage.
Do your parents spoil you? Do you wish you had more siblings? Why won't your parents have more kids? These are all questions I get asked almost every day. Being an only child can have its pros and its cons. A pro of being an only child is that you get to make a closer bond with your parents because you don't have to share their attention. You get to hang out with them a lot, and they turn into your best friends. Since an only child does not have a person to play with at home in the role of a sibling, I have to fend for myself. I am more independent, I can reach out to people, and I can make friends easily. This is especially good in later years when I enter the practice of life and need contacts for things like furthering my education and my career. Another advantage is that your parents may spend more time teaching you to be independent so you could build your confidence and feel less pressure. Single children do not have an over-smart older sibling they are constantly compared to, or for that matter, a younger superstar overachiever of a sibling you can never be. With no competition, no matter what you do, you are the star. I have major opportunities in my life. My parents work so hard to give me the best life that they can, and I feel more grateful for that each and every day. Also, only children get the best of everything. And I'm not just saying like toys and presents, but an only child has a much better education than if they had siblings. This is because the overall affordability of parents increases since they only have one child to support. As wonderful as it is, there are some downsides. Sometimes it is very lonely being an only child. Even though it is great to have some personal space and time to yourself, an only child will never feel as though they will always have someone their own age to talk to. Another drawback is that you will not be able to learn from the mistakes of an older brother or sister. I mean, let's face it, older siblings make a lot of mistakes. You know who you are. I have heard that they usually get into trouble. As an only child, I have no one to tell me what is right and wrong. But still, being an only child is great. So if you're an only child, embrace the spotlight.
I enjoyed hearing about being an only child. It has its benefits, but I love having my sister.
Okay, audience, we want to know, how many siblings do you have?
I have a feeling that our next speaker is going to be amazing. Do you know why I said be like that? It is because our next speaker, Thomas Galena, is going to share with us how bees are our friends and not foes. So please welcome Thomas Glenas to the stage.
Bees are the chefs of the world. Pollen does something magical. It turns into seeds into nuts, mountains, birds, etc. Bees help create so much of our food supply. We must protect them. Before I go on, I need to tell you guys something. You should not, and I repeat, should not run away from a bee. Because, get it? If you do, a bee will be scared and possibly sting you. But they are just trying to defend themselves. That does not mean you should still try to annoy them. Because if you get stung, something bad will happen to them too. They die because their stingers fall off. So please, I beg ya, be nice to them so we don't lose a whole generation of bees. If we lose bees, it may hurt our ecosystem and damage our food supply because bees pollinate our fruits, veggies, etc. They also provide honey for animals like bears. You guys will learn that bees are not dangerous. While there are many species of bees that are too aggressive, like wasps, hornets, or honeybees, there are others, like the bald-faced hornet, which is one of the sharpest stingered bees. It attacks anything that comes near its nest, so you also have to respect it, but really staying away. I have a big passion for bees. Have you ever been to the Conservation Water Garden? I've went there once, and if you go there, you might get a big passion for bees too. They give me 25 seed packets to plant that will attract bees to help them thrive. You guys will learn that bees are not dangerous. 6 rules on how to respect bees. 1. Never come near a bald-faced hornet's nest. 2. Be nice so they don't sting you. 3. Plant bees. Seeds. 4. Don't steal honey from hives, because you are not a bear. 5. Don't give them medicine. 6. Don't step on them. If bees care for nature, then you can too, because nature is everywhere. Can I trust you to be kind to bees? And if someone asks, what are you doing? Just say none of your business. By interacting with bees, you are going to learn that bees aren't dangerous. You can be nature's best caretakers. You're the kings and queens of bees. Bees are amazing and cute.
That was really interesting. I'm going to think twice before I kill a bee. That wraps up our first session of TEDx Kids at El Cajon event. Thank you for joining us and supporting our speakers today. We hope you learned something from these brave speakers. Please make sure to register and tune in for session 2 tomorrow, June 4th at 6:30. For more information, please visit our TEDx Kids at El Cajon website. هذا ينهي الجزء الأول لTEDx Kids at El Cajon event. شكرا لحضوركم ومساعدتكم للأطفال اليوم. شكرا لمجيئكم، وأيضا نحن نؤمل أن أنتم تعلمتوا شيئا من هذه الأطفال. أرجوكم أتوا للجزء الثاني لTEDx Kids at El Cajon event غدا June 4th في 6:30. لمعلومات أكثر أرجوكم زوروا TEDx Kids at El Cajon website. Thank you for joining us today. شكرا لحضوركم اليوم. Good night. تصبحون على خير.
Wow. What an amazing talk, amazing session. That went by super fast.
It did.
Yeah. And for me, one talk that really struck home, both personally and also timely, is Zia's Zia's talk about how we really need to be challenged to use our kindness and empathy to understand each other. I think that is such a great message for today and for any time, right? And also, I really enjoy Thomas's passion for bees, and I want to make bees my business.
Oh, Howard. Yeah, it's incredible. Kindergartner. These kids are so inspiring. I hope all of you had an amazing night at home with your family. And I hope these conversations don't stop and you continue talking about their talks after we leave. I hope you join us tomorrow night. This was just session 1. We have 2 more to go. So join us tomorrow night and Friday. If you haven't registered yet, please go to our website, www.TEDxKidsElCajon.com, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Good night.
Good night.